Do you ever wonder why some 20-year-olds seem to move through life with quiet clarity, while some 40-year-olds still explode at every small disagreement, dodge responsibility, or sulk in silent resentment? It's easy to assume age brings wisdom, but the reality is more nuanced and more uncomfortable. Emotional maturity doesn't care how old you are. You can spend decades on this earth and still lack the ability to own your feelings, apologize with sincerity, or navigate hard conversations with grace. Think about it. We've all met someone old enough to know better, someone who checks all the boxes of adulthood but still behaves like an emotional adolescent. Maybe it's a parent who uses guilt instead of honest dialogue, or a boss who punishes others for their own insecurity, or even a partner who storms out during conflict rather than staying to work it through. Their age may command respect, but their behavior does not. Society has sold us a myth that with enough years, we automatically grow wiser, calmer, better at handling life's messiness. But emotional maturity is not a default setting that switches on with each birthday. It's a skill, one that must be learned, practiced, and nurtured. And just like physical fitness, if it's not cultivated intentionally, it won't develop on its own. Psychologist Daniel Goleman, best known for popularizing emotional intelligence, emphasized that success in life isn't just about IQ, it's about EQ, emotional intelligence. This includes self-awareness, emotional regulation, empathy, and social skills. These aren't traits we're born with. They are developed through discomfort, self-reflection, and growth. So, what exactly is emotional maturity? At its core, emotional maturity is the ability to sit with your emotions without being ruled by them. It's the capacity to feel something intensely, anger, jealousy, sadness, and still choose your response instead of reacting on impulse. It's admitting when you're wrong without making excuses. It's being able to have a difficult conversation without turning it into a war. And it's recognizing that your feelings are valid, but they don't always tell the whole truth. Someone emotionally mature can hold space for disagreement without needing to dominate. They can say, "I was hurt by what you said," rather than, "You always make me feel worthless." They can express a boundary without cutting someone off entirely. They understand that growth often comes from rupture and repair, not perfection. On the flip side, emotional immaturity tends to look like avoidance, blame shifting, emotional outbursts, or passive aggression. It's the inability to handle discomfort without lashing out or withdrawing. And while these behaviors can show up in anyone from any age group, they're often more damaging when they come from those who assume their age excuses them. Ironically, one of the clearest signs of emotional maturity is the willingness to admit you're not there yet. The mature person doesn't walk around claiming superiority. They remain curious, humble, and open to learning. The immature person, however, clings to pride and defensiveness, unable to look inward. Age may give you more experiences, but without reflection, those experiences won't automatically turn into wisdom. You can go through the same emotional cycles for years, blaming others, repeating patterns, avoiding growth, and call it life. But unless you pause and ask yourself why, you won't evolve. So, if you've ever felt frustrated that someone older doesn't get it, or surprised that someone younger handles emotions with grace, know this: age is a number, maturity is a mindset, and the work of growing up emotionally is never finished, no matter how old you are. Let's now look deeper into what this maturity looks like, how it shows up in everyday life, and how to tell the difference between emotionally aware and unaware behavior. So, what does emotional maturity actually look like in the real world? It starts with self-awareness, the ability to recognize your own emotional patterns, triggers, and blind spots. An emotionally mature person doesn't just feel something and act on it. They pause, they reflect, they ask themselves, where is this coming from? Instead of assuming the problem is always external. This isn't just introspection, it's emotional accountability. It's the difference between saying, "You made me angry," and "I felt angry when that happened." In psychology, this capacity to notice and regulate your emotions is part of what's known as emotional intelligence, and it's far more predictive of success and satisfaction in life than academic intelligence. Dr. Susan David, psychologist at Harvard Medical School, notes that emotions are data, not directives. Emotionally mature individuals learn to decode that data rather than obey it blindly. Take conflict, for example. An emotionally mature person won't rush to win or shame the other. They don't weaponize silence or scream to assert control. Instead, they speak directly, but with empathy. They're able to say, "I feel disconnected lately. Can we talk about it?" Instead of letting resentment fester beneath surface-level peace. This capacity to manage conflict with respect, to listen without defensiveness, to validate someone's feelings even when you don't agree, is a hallmark of maturity. It doesn't mean you're always calm or perfect. It means you're willing to stay in the discomfort of hard conversations without using anger or withdrawal as a shield. Empathy is another cornerstone. Emotionally mature people can step outside their own experience and imagine what it feels like to be someone else. They're able to see conflict from multiple perspectives, not just their own. Empathy doesn't mean excusing bad behavior. It means understanding motivations without judgment, which helps de-escalate drama instead of fueling it. Let's look at an example. Imagine a romantic partner cancels plans last minute. An emotionally immature response might sound like, "You clearly don't care about me. You always do this. I'm done." It's reactive, accusatory, and rooted in fear. An emotionally mature response might be, "I felt disappointed when you canceled. Can we talk about how to better handle things like this in the future?" Same emotion, different approach. One deepens trust. The other erodes it. In the workplace, maturity shows up in how people handle criticism, take responsibility for mistakes, or manage stress. Someone with high emotional maturity won't crumble under feedback or deflect blame onto others. They'll own their part, stay composed, and use the experience to grow. They don't need to dominate meetings or micromanage others to feel competent. Their confidence is quiet, but grounded. Now contrast this with the emotional immaturity that often hides behind adult exteriors. The coworker who sulks after being passed over for a promotion. The friend who gives the silent treatment when upset. The sibling who still blames childhood for every adult failure. These behaviors aren't about age. They're about emotional development that was never cultivated. And here's the cost. Emotionally immature people often leave wreckage in their relationships. They trigger avoidant dynamics, create codependent loops, or foster environments where others feel unsafe expressing themselves. Over time, their inability to regulate emotions leads to distrust, exhaustion, and distance. In career settings, immaturity can sabotage collaboration, derail leadership potential, and create toxic culture. It often shows up as impulsivity, gossip, defensiveness, or a resistance to feedback. Talented people with low emotional maturity often stagnate, not because they lack skill, but because they can't handle relational complexity. The consequences stretch further. Emotional immaturity contributes to chronic stress, unresolved anxiety, and fractured relationships. It's not just about how others perceive you. It's about the internal turbulence that comes from being emotionally unequipped to face life's inevitable difficulties. As Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Maturity begins the moment we stop blaming fate and start taking responsibility. But here's the good news. Emotional maturity isn't fixed. No matter your background, your age, or your past patterns, you can grow. You can learn to respond instead of react. You can learn to sit with discomfort instead of escape it. You can learn to hold your boundaries without burning bridges. In the final part of this video, we'll explore exactly how to do that with practical, grounded strategies to develop maturity, regulate emotions, and transform your relationships from the inside out. Emotional maturity isn't something you either have or don't. It's a skill, a practice, a daily decision to engage with yourself and the world in a more honest, thoughtful, and compassionate way. And while some people may have developed this skill early, through life experiences, introspection, or good modeling, the truth is, it's available to anyone at any age who's willing to do the work. The first step is self-awareness. Begin by observing your emotional patterns. What triggers you? When do you shut down or lash out? Journaling, mindfulness, or simply taking a moment before reacting can help you see the unconscious habits running your relationships and decisions. You can't change what you won't face, and facing yourself is the beginning of transformation. Philosopher Søren Kierkegaard wrote, "Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards." Maturity means being willing to look back, to trace your wounds and defense mechanisms, not to dwell, but to understand, to live forward with intention rather than reactivity. Next comes emotional regulation, the ability to feel difficult emotions without being consumed by them. This doesn't mean repressing your feelings or pretending everything's fine. It means learning to sit with discomfort without turning it into destruction. You can feel anger without attacking. You can feel fear without fleeing. You can feel sadness without collapsing. Emotional maturity creates space between stimulus and response. And in that space, there's power. There are tools for this: breathing exercises, somatic grounding, therapy, self-talk that's gentle but firm. When you catch yourself spiraling, ask, what would the most mature version of me do in this moment? Not the most agreeable version, not the most polite, the most emotionally grounded. That question alone can change the course of an entire conflict. But maturity isn't just about self-control. It's also about connection. Developing empathy means making a sincere effort to understand others' emotions, not just your own. It means listening without preparing your rebuttal. It means validating someone's pain even when you disagree with their interpretation. It means staying soft in a world that rewards defensiveness. In relationships, this creates intimacy. It makes people feel safe to be honest, not because you always agree, but because they know you won't punish them for being vulnerable. Maturity creates space for imperfection in yourself and in others, and that space is where real love grows. And when you inevitably mess up, because we all do, maturity shows up as repair. It's the courage to say, I was wrong, I overreacted, I want to understand you better. Not because you're weak, but because you value connection more than ego. In work, in love, in friendship, emotional maturity makes the difference between temporary connections and lasting ones. It's the reason some people grow while others repeat. It's the reason some relationships deepen while others fracture. And here's the most empowering truth of all. You don't have to wait to become more emotionally mature. You don't need anyone else's permission. You don't need a decade of therapy or a spiritual awakening. You just need a willingness to be honest with yourself and a commitment to grow a little every day. Because in the end, maturity isn't about age, it's about accountability. It's about choosing presence over pride, compassion over control, depth over drama. And that kind of maturity, it doesn't just change your relationships, it changes your life.